What's up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there killing it on the tables. Today, in this video, we are taking that last tournament and editing it down with some commentary, since all the commentary was thrown out because I had music in the background and YouTube muted the video. So we're gonna have to redo some of the commentary and look at some of the big hands that we got in this video. Let's jump into it. First hand we're looking at is Ace-8 offsuit. Under the gun, there's 5 people on this table. One person is sitting out, so we're pretty much playing four-handed. And all the players that are left are very, very tight, and they're playing even tighter because we are on the final table bubble right now. So when I put in the min raise here, I'm expecting to pick up a lot of pots pre-flop. So the flop is king-high rainbow. Doesn't connect with much of anything at all. We're going to represent some type of hand here and put it in a continuation bet. Bet is 5,000, and we pick up that pot right there. And once again, everyone folds to us. We're in the small blind. We have king-jack offsuit this time. Putting in a raise. I'm just going to jam right here and put the player at a decision for his entire stack. And he does make a fold, and we pick up another pot. Moving up in the chip stacks now. We are now 4th out of 10. Open raising with jack-10 suited in the cutoff. And it folds all the way around, and we pick up another pot. Now we have ace-9 offsuit, raising into the blinds. We must have lost a couple chips, gotten in a hand with Poker Beauty, who looks to have added to their stack. But you're gonna lose some of your chips once in a while when you are playing this aggressive and you're trying to pick up a lot of steals here. But you have to stick to it, stick to your game, stick to what you're good at and what you know is working for you. So I jam all in with the ace-9, and we pick up that pot, get one more rotation around the table. Blinds and antes are up. You can see how aggressive I was playing. I'm betting pretty much every hand pre-flop. 4-5 offsuit in the cutoff. Not a good spot to get it in with, but I just know that these players are folding. I think their fold pre-flop, fold to steal was, both of them were over 90%, which is insane. You can literally bet any two cards with a pre-flop fold to steal and be making money and adding chips to your stack. Now we're at the final table. First hand we're looking at is 8-7 offsuit. We're under the gun. We now have a lot of players playing behind us, not just the very tight players that were with us before. And we're sitting 5th out of 9. We have pocket 8s on this hand, and we have a limp and a limp call from the 2 players to our right. I'm also just going to call here with the pocket 8s. Maybe see a cheap flop in position against these players. Flop is ace high, 2 3s on the board, 2 diamonds on the board. We can easily get rid of the 8s here with a bet into us. Poker Beauty was one of those players that was playing really tight from our previous table and doesn't usually put in bluffs, at least from what we have seen, especially in a pot where there's going to be 3 players acting behind him. So, not 3 players acting behind him, but 3 players left to act. And he gets raised. That is almost definitely going to be a 3. And a jam from Poker Beauty. Yep, it is a 3 against an ace-queen, and Poker Beauty is knocked out. Down to 8 players. We are still sitting 5th out of 8. Under the gun +1 min raise, we can click the auto fold button on the 10-9 suited. J Money in the big blind jams all in, and he shows 9s up against Patinsky 86 with pocket aces. And the pocket aces eliminate J Money 154. We're down to 7 players. We are sitting 5th out of 7 right now. And we have ace queen offsuit. And the player to our right, Rusty 24, Rusty and a bunch of numbers, bets 3x. And I think this is a good spot to get in with ace-queen. Our chip stack is getting pretty low, and we need to start making some power moves here. And we have the 2 tight players to our left and Patinsky, who is sitting out. So I think this is a good spot to isolate and hopefully get it in with the lead here. Patinsky comes back in, but they do make a fold, and it goes to Rusty, who makes a call pocket 8s. Got a coin flip, and I finally win a coin flip and double up off of Rusty. Chip stack is now over 73,000, and we move up to 3rd place. The very next hand, Rusty jams all in. He could be fuming from that last hand and just on tilt and jamming right here. And ace king is a very strong holding, and I don't think there's any chance I can get rid of it against this player. So I do make the call, even with all the players acting behind me. And we're ace king against ace queen. Good spot to be in. We just have to avoid a jack going into the river, and we do, and pick up a pot of over 150,000 and knock Rusty out of the tournament. And we are now sitting second in chips. Already Busto has a few more than us, and he does put in a min raise in the cutoff. I think this is a good spot for a re-steal. I think he's opening pretty wide from the cutoff, and from what I remember, he has a high fold to 3-bet percentage as well. So I do 3-bet, and I make it 11,000 more for him to call, and he folds, and we pick up that pot. Blazing Door is still inactive, and somehow he hasn't played a hand for like the last hour and a half and is still in this tournament. Now we get a little bit of a blind battle. Patinsky jams all in, king 7 offsuit. Senior Raw Power makes a call. He's got king jack suited, and Senior Raw Power doubles up off of Patinsky, and now we have 10-9 diamonds in the small blind. Already Busto puts in another min raise. I'm going to try doing the same plays I did last time. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller and see what we can get away with. I think when we make it smaller, it makes our hand look a little bit stronger too. So it's only 10,000 for him to call now, and he does make the call. Flop is king high. It's pretty dry, but there's going to be a lot of those cards within his range. We do have a draw to the jack for a straight, but hopefully we can just pick this pot up right here with a half pot size bet. He makes a call, and we nail our jack on the turn, and now we're going to try to get it all in here. The only hand we lose to is ace 10. Trying to figure out a bet sizing here so that we can bet decent amount on the turn and then get it all in on the river. I bet a little bit over 41,000, and he does make the fold, and we pick up a pot right there and move into the chip lead. Now we have 9-3 suited diamonds. Count Spatula, very tight player to our left in the big blind, and I was playing a very, very aggressive game against these guys, and they haven't really played back into me, like hardly at all. This time he does make a call. He sees a flop. Jack high, two-tone. We have backdoor straight, backdoor flush draws, but we're going to try to pick up this pot right now, and Count Spatula is probably just going to get rid of it if he didn't connect with this flop at all. So I bet a little bit less than half pot, and he does get rid of it, and we pick up that pot. Now we have 10 deuce offsuit in the big blind. Count Spatula jams all in. Senor goes all in. Already Busto goes all in. We have 2 ace kings against an ace jack, and they split Count Spatula's chips. We are now 4-handed. We have ace 6 on the button. Going to open raise here. Just try to pick up the blinds and antes. Make it 10,000 to go. Patinsky makes a call in the in the small blind. Patinsky's been adding a couple chips to his stack. This guy, he's been playing kind of a weird game. We flop ace high. I just check back because I know what this player has been doing, and he's been putting in a lot of bluffs and a lot of big bets. And he bets half pot on the turn. I'm just going to make a call here. He either hit this flop or missed it completely. Now there's an ace on the river. The flush got there if he was betting the flush draw. And he bets half pot again. I'm just going to make a call here. Showdown with the trip aces, and he shows king high. So he put 2 bluffs in on that hand on the turn and river. Make a mental note of that one. And now we have queen 10 offsuit in the cutoff. Patinsky jams over the top of us. His chip stack is down to 52,000 now. It's a little bit more than 40,000 for us to make this call if it does come back to us. Senior Raw Power is thinking about it. Yes, it does fold back to us, and it is a little bit more than 42,000 into a pot of over 71,000. We're getting a little bit less than 2-to-1 odds, and if we have 2 live cards here, we have to be calling, and I think this player's range is incredibly wide right here. I just hope I'm not up against one of his bigger holdings. So I'm thinking about it, and I do make the call. We have a coin flip. He's got pocket deuces, so pretty much any pair he's going to be jamming here. And we wind up losing that coin flip and doubled Patinsky up. That'll come back to haunt us. And now we have king 7 of spades in the big blind. Patinsky min raises, a little bit more than min raises. Senior Raw Power goes all in, and Patinsky makes a call. Ace 4 against king jack, and ace 4 takes this one down, and we are down to 3 players. Pretty even stacks right now. Down to the 3 players. We have 9-10 of clubs. Putting in an open raise here into Patinsky in the big blind. We flop a 10, and I bet half pot. Patinsky makes a call. The turn is a queen. None of the draws got there. I just check back though, and I know this player's tendencies to bluff. So I'm going to be check calling all the way down here with just a 10-9. And he puts in a bet of 19-2. The river is a 6. Probably didn't connect with his hand. Again, all the draws miss. And he checks back on the river, and he shows queen 8 offsuit. He called my flop bet with queen 8. With a queen high. His only out was a queen. He had backdoor draws, and he hits his queen on the turn. Takes that pot down. Again, we need to watch this player and keep that in mind, because he is calling really, really loose, and he's betting really wide. I open raise with ace 8 on the button, and Patinsky calls. Two-tone, 2 queens on the flop. There's a 9 out there. He checks back to us. I check back as well. Third queen comes on the turn, and he leads out for a third of the pot. I'm not giving him any credit here, and a 9 comes on the river. Full house on the board. I think we were good with the ace high. I just checked back though. Yeah, we were. He had 4-3 bluff there on the turn, and we would have gotten some more chips out of him, but the board paired, and we wind up splitting that pot. Now we have king queen suited on the button. We are now third in the chips, losing too many pots to Patinsky. I put in an open raise to 11-6, and we see a flop, ace high, two-tone, queen, and a king on the flop. We have bottom 2 pair. The only hand that we really lose to within this player's range is going to be jack 10. All the other ace hands would have 3-bet. Ace queen would have 3-bet. Ace king would have 3-bet from this player. So I know we're going to be good here almost all the time. I bet half pot. He makes a call. The turn is another queen. We fill up. Again, I think we're going to be good here a lot of the time. I want to put in an affordable bet in case he is drawing to something like a flush now. So I make it 16-8. That's a good bet to also make a hand like an ace with a low kicker stick around too. And he comes back over the top. So I'm jamming all in here. I think we're going to be good. And he shows king 10. He had middle pair there. And he's not going to get value from any hands with that raise. He's only going to get played back to with hands that beat him. So that he turned his value showdown hand into a bluff there by raising on the turn. I do not get that play. That was not a very smart play by him. If anything, you just call down with the king there because you're only beating complete bluffs. That was a crazy play. And now we have ace queen suited in the big blind. Patinsky open raises, min raise to us. I'm going to be putting in a 3-bet here. And he doesn't like to fold very much at all. So I'm going to make it 29,000. It's almost 3 times his bet. Should make him think about it a little bit. There's now 63,000 in the pot. He's got 93 behind him. King high. We have the flush draw. And I think that he is going to be calling with pretty much any kind of hand that he has that connects with this board. But I think we're going to be ahead even with the ace high. And I think this probably would have been a good spot for the check raise. But I lead out for 1/3 of the pot. And he does make the fold. That one probably could have been better with the check raise, but I'm not really too upset with it. Now we have king queen, and Patinsky min raises us again. And instead of making it a small 3-bet, I decided to jam all in here since he really doesn't fold to much of any bet that I've been putting out there. So I'm trying to force the issue a little bit here and make a jam. And this time I run into ace king. He actually had a hand. So we have outs to a queen. We now have outs to a jack after that flop, but we do not hit, and he doubles up off of us. Next hand we're looking at is 10-5 suited spades in the small blind. Folds to us. I just make a call here. Bet's not going to do any good because he's not going to be folding any hands. And he min bets us. We're getting good odds, and I think that we can read this player pretty well and play against him. So I do make the call, being out of position. Probably not the best play, but he checks back on the flop, and we hit a 5 on the turn. I'm going to check call here with just the pair of 5s. I think we're going to be ahead of most of his range. He bets on the turn. The river is a 9. Again, I'm just going to check call. Pretty much any hand that connects right here beats us, but I don't think that, he's betting so wide and he's put in so many bluffs that we can call down with the pair of 5s there, and we do pick up that pot. Now we have 8-6 offsuit on the button. We make a fold, and Patinsky puts in a min bet. Already Busto jams all in. It's like over 100,000 for Patinsky to call right here. And he does make the call. He's got aces. He had another big hand there against ace 7. Already Busto had diamond outs going into the river, but misses. and we are down to heads up. Our chip stack is looking pretty small though. Patinsky's got us 4-1 right now. And first hand of heads up, we have ace-6 suited. Patinsky puts in a min bet. I put in a jam since, again, he does not fold at all. And he does make the call. He's got king-6 offsuit. That's a really, really wide call. We hit an ace on the flop, and we pick up that pot, double up, trying to even these chip stacks out. I think anytime we get a hand here, we should be trying to get it all in with Patinsky, and hopefully we can and have our big cards hold against this type of player. He min bets us this time. We have queen jack suited in the big blind. Putting in a 3-bet, I make it 27-8 to go. Since this player doesn't really fold too much and is very aggressive, possibly should have just called that one, especially now that he jams all in. It's probably better to just call, see a flop, and then outplay him since he's putting in so many bluffs on the turn and river. So now I'm in a tough spot. I either call with the queen jack against a player who has a very wide range, could be up against any ace, any pair. He could have king-6 again and technically be in the lead. Now we have king-4 offsuit. I put in a min raise, and he makes a call. Flop is queen high, two-tone, 2 spades out there. Just check back with the king-4. We hit a 4 on the turn. A little bit of showdown value, not that much, but again, this player bets so wide and bluffs so often that we can call down with second to bottom pair. And he checks back on the river, and he shows 5-8 offsuit. He called a 5-8 offsuit raise, and then bet with an 8 high on the turn, hits his 8 on the river, and he takes down that pot. Calling bets pre-flop with 8-5 offsuit out of position. That's the type of player this guy is. Min bets us, we jam with ace-6, he calls with king-queen. We have ace high up against him, hit a 6 on the flop, and we hold and double up. We are now in the chip lead, and we have ace-deuce. He min bets us. Looked like I was thinking about the all-in. Maybe that would have been a better play. Instead, I'm going to 3-bet. I think just a call or a jam all-in probably would have been the best play against this guy. But we check the flop. It's king high, 2 8s on the board, 5 on the turn, and I put out a small turn bet. He makes a call. The river is a 9. All the draws pretty much miss. A 6-7 got there. That's the only draw that got there. So I check back, and we've seen him bet with so many hands that completely miss. And I'm going into this with the intention to check call the river with just an ace high, and hopefully he bluffs at this pot. And he bets 1/3 of the pot. This is such a tough spot, and I decide to make the call with the ace high, knowing that this player bluffs a lot of hands. None of the draws really got there. We've seen him put in a bluff like this before. We could be splitting a pot here with just an ace high. So I do make the call. He wound up having 9-8 offsuit. He put in a slow play that time. He actually made a good play on us, and that's where, the aggression that this player has pays off for him, is that when he does hit a hand, we don't give him value for it, and we wind up losing a big portion of our stack on that one. And we have ace-10 the next hand. I'm jamming all in. He calls with queen-6 offsuit in the big blind, another very loose call by this player. He hits a queen on the flop, and the queen holds, and we wind up getting knocked out of that tournament. In second place, we played hard, we played tough. We might have made a couple mistakes there at the end. The ace high hand that we called with definitely hurt, but I am not too upset with our play. I think we got in some really good reads on this player, and we gave ourselves a good opportunity to win this tournament. It just didn't happen this time. Click that subscribe button if you guys have not done that yet. Head down to the video description for links to Twitch, where I will be streaming more often. I also have links to all the great poker products that I use, including Hold'em Manager and America's Card Room, where I do all of my poker playing. If you have not signed up for America's Card Room yet, use promo code DKPoker to receive a $1,000 cash deposit bonus, as well as 50 tournament bucks. If you have any comments or questions, leave those down in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the edited version of the final table. I've got another final table to edit down and leave some commentary on. That one will be coming out very soon. But until then, I'll see you guys out on the virtual felt.